all very much to be here. And as a Spirit Consortium, we are happy to have this webinar to give you all the information for the participation into the open call. Before starting, and while other participants are also joining, I would like to give you some information. Yep. Just few information regarding the webinar. The webinar is recorded and will be published on the Spirit website starting from tomorrow. If you have any question during the webinar, you can write your question in the Q&A session, and at the end of the webinar, there will be a dedicated session to answer all your questions. And after the end of the webinar, if you still have some question, you can contact us directly with the open calls at Spirit EU project. So you have a direct email to ask almost whatever you want regarding the open call and the Spirit project. I think we can start with the introduction of the agenda for today. The objective of today is to give you a short overview of the Spirit project. Then we will move with the overview of the open calls, the rules, and the timeline. And there will be a consistent section on the technological framework. And at the end of the webinar, the question and answer section. And all the questions are very welcome so that we can solve your doubt in the proposal submission. To start with the Spirit project overview, I would like to give the floor to our technical coordinator, Vivian Helmut, that will give a brief introduction on the project. So Vivian, the floor is yours. And
thank you. It will be very short. Mission and vision, objectives, innovation and collaboration. Oh, you okay. The ambition is to realize Europe's first multi-site interconnected framework dedicated to supporting the operation of heterogeneous collaborative telepresence application at scale through relevant technology innovation. That's quite an ambition, and we will see how you can contribute to it. Next one. Spirit in a nutshell. We are part of the extended collaborative telepresence call, and in short, Spirit system will be a distributed network and application platform with interconnected site. And very important are the third-party experiments through open calls and targeted technology readiness level. It's from things running in the lab, validated in the lab, to have it transferred or improved to something that works in an operational environment. The projects will last for 3 years, and on the right side you can see the consortia members. So I will not name them, but I have a look at the next slide. Yeah, and it's really important that the innovation is done by collaboration. Therefore, we have cascade funding, European cascade funding. The Spirit project provides 2 open calls, and we invite you to accelerate, foster, and boost the development of this innovative project by your ideas and your technology available as improvement and for innovation in Europe.
okay, thank you, Vivian, very much for the introduction. I will take the floor now on, if you agree with that. introducing the instrument of the open call. As you said, is an instrument to boost the collaboration within the European community and Commission. And the Spirit project is planning to have 2 rounds of open call during its lifetime. The total budget is 3.5 million euros. And we are planning to fund and to support at least 25 projects. And the targeted organization we want to support are SMEs, industries, research, and scientific organization. At the moment, first open call is open for your submission of proposals. So let me give you some condensed information about this open call, what you can receive as a support from the Spirit Consortium, what is the timeline, what are the rules and the guidelines. Regarding the support and the funding on the first open call, what we are planning here is to use a total budget of 2 million euros. This total budget will be distributed on at least 10 projects, and the maximum funding per project will be 200,000 euros. This is the maximum funding, so that means that you can also request a lower budget. Anyhow, we suggest that you have this keep in mind this number when you are preparing your proposal submission. The maximum duration of each project supported will be 9 months. And when you are defining the cost of your project and experimentation, you have to consider what are the eligible costs within this open call support. And the eligible costs are the personnel expenses and the travel expenses. Moreover, we have the overheads, which is equivalent to the 25% of the direct costs that are personal plus travel. It's also important to know that the payment and the budget support will be distributed in 2 installments. The first installment, it's equivalent to the 75% of the maximum grant amount and will be released at the month 5 of the experimentation. So you will not have this from the very beginning, but after the submission of the midterm report. And the second installment, the final one, will be released after the finalization of the experimentation and the submission of the final report. You are not only receiving support in terms of money, but you will also be supervised by the Spirit Consortium. This means that each selected project will be supervised by a patron. A patron is a project partner that will be supporting the experimenters during the execution and the following up of the experiment results. So you will receive money support, but also technical and operational support. And you can find the list of patrons on the Spirit Open Call dedicated page. The timeline for the proposal application and the implementation of the project, and as you can see here, the first open call has been launched in March 2024, and the final submission deadline will be 27th of May. After this deadline, we will dedicate the June month, to the evaluation of all the proposals submitted. And at the end of June, we will announce the awarded project. And from July on, we will start, and you will start, if you are selected, with the implementation of your project. As I said at the beginning, the maximum duration of the experimentation is 9 months. Therefore, if you're starting on July 2024, your experimentation will be finished by March 2025. And then in April, there will be the final reporting and the final payment for the supported project. important tools that you have in order to submit a winning proposal. First of all, you have the Spirit Project open call page, which is your reference page. You can find all the information that you need for the proposal submission and all the technical information that you might need while defining and drafting your proposal. First of all, you find the document needed for the submission. The Spirit Open Call Toolkit is the extended version of the open call page with all the administrative information. And then you can also find the proposal template, declaration of honor, and SME self-declaration that are the document that you will need to submit during the proposal submission. Besides this document that are needed for the submission, you will also find the Spirit's technological reports that describe you the technological framework. And you can easily download that from the website. So please use this page and this document as a reference for your proposal. Moving on with the eligibility criteria, who is eligible to apply for the Spirit Open Call proposal submission? As said at the beginning, the targeted organization are SMEs, industry, research and scientific organization, and academia. We are accepting proposals from both individual or consortia. Please take into consideration that if you are a consortia, the maximum number of organizations in a consortia is 3 organizations, any type of organization, but maximum 3. The applicant, is it a single organization or a consortium, has to be eligible for participation into the Horizon Europe program. And regarding this specific eligibility criteria, I want to underline that the rules that are applied are the ones that were in law when we received the money from the European Commission. So you have to specifically check the document that is listed on the website and the list of eligible countries. For example, UK is not eligible to receive the money, as well as Switzerland, for example. Another important element is that the applicant is not affiliated to any of the consortium partner. This means that there is no legal or capital connection with any of the project partners. So if you are cooperating with one of the project partner on other project, this is not a problem. You are not affiliated, but if you have a legal or capital connection, there is an affiliation there, and so therefore you cannot participate into the proposal submission. Regarding the eligibility criteria, what we are going to support with the financial support, I think, Vivian, you will give more information about that later on. So please keep in mind that you have to be in line with the Spirit project goals, but then Vivian will give you some more hints on this side. Here I want to mention an important element. Of course, your proposal and experimentation has to be integrated and has to cooperate with the Spirit results already provided from the consortium. Therefore, it's important that your proposal is feasible and we can implement that in our technological framework. For this reason, the consortium is offering an optional advisory service to evaluate the project feasibility. Let me underline that this step is very recommended, but is not mandatory. Anyhow, you will be able to submit a very condensed version of your proposal and receive some feedback from the Spirit consortium regarding the feasibility of your proposal. The deadline to take advantage of the feasibility advisory service is May 13. And it's important to note that undergoing a feasibility advisory does not guarantee the selection of your proposal and does not imply any commitment to move forward with your proposal. It's an optional step, but it's not something that implies that your proposal will be supported in the end. Regarding the proposal submission on the Spirit web page dedicated to open call, you will find the submission portal button. And then here you will have the submission page open, and you will see that you have two different possibilities to submit your proposal for the feasibility advisor or to submit it as a final submission. Let's see the two options here. So if you intend to submit your proposal as a feasibility advisor, well, you have to select feasibility advisor in the first stage, in the first tab of the proposal form. Then you have to complete the submission form in all the mandatory fields, and you have to attach the documents required. And for the feasibility advisory, the only document that is required is the proposal template in PDF. And this proposal template has to be completed at least in the section A, B, C, and H. And the deadline, as said before, is May 13 for the feasibility advisory. Regarding the final submission, the process is very similar. You have to select final submission stage, complete the submission form. At this time, you have to attach at least two different documents. So the proposal template fully completed, the declaration of owner, and the SME self-declaration in case you are an SME, or in case in the consortium there is an SME participating. For the final submission, the deadline is 27 of May. Late proposal will not be admitted, and please keep in mind that feasibility advisory submission will not be evaluated as final submission. You have to do this final submission stage in order to go further into the process of the evaluation. The evaluation process, after all final submissions are collected, there will be an internal evaluation to check the eligibility and feasibility of the proposal. And all the proposals that are deemed eligible and feasible will be then evaluated by external evaluators. We will have at least 2 external experts evaluating your proposal, and be assured that an NDA will be signed with all the external experts. The external expert cannot be part of the consortium, and they cannot evaluate proposal where a conflict of interest can be identified. The ranking of each proposal will be based on 10 criteria that I will show you on the next slide. And after the evaluation, there will be a consensus meeting to define the ranking of each proposal, and final results will be communicated by end of June. The criteria that will be used for the evaluation of each proposal are listed here, and you can also find them with more details on the open call webpage. Please note that there is a threshold score, which is 33, and the maximum total score is 75. Anyhow, each evaluated proposal from external proposal will receive a score letter describing what you have obtained in on these evaluation criteria. Regarding the process and the main administrative and general information, it's all from my side. So I want to thank you for the attention. I would like to give the floor for the technical description and framework introduction. So Vivian, I think you will be starting with that.
Ning, would you be so kind to prepare for presentation. Okay, perfect. So let me give an introduction to the technology section. We have three parts of the technology section: the use cases and architecture, look into the application frameworks, and afterwards I talk about test beds and integration. The first part, the use cases, is presented by Ning from the University of Surrey. The second part, the application frameworks, will be presented by Ericsson, and I already mentioned that I will present the third part, test beds and integration. And all the information we present in the technology part can be found in the three documents in much more detail than we can give in a few minutes right now in the documents mentioned by Valentina, probably in the middle of her presentation. But I'm sure that we can provide the links to these documents later on. So, Ning, please start a short introduction to the use cases from our consortium.
Yeah. Yes, can people hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yes, so basically, I'm Professor Ning Wang from Surrey University. Sorry, my camera doesn't work, but you can see my face from another Ning Wang in the list. So I'm currently I'm coordinating the WP2 of Spirit, which mainly focus on the use cases and over architecture. So I'd like to take the next few minutes to go through the current use cases being developed by the project team so that you can get some initial ideas. What are the technical examples of the telepresence applications we have been focusing on? But of course, this does not represent the whole scope of the open core. So if you look at the Spirit-defined use cases, we can broadly classify them into the following dimensions. We both look at the human-to-human telepresence applications as well as human-to-machine applications. And also under the human-oriented applications, we also support both live streaming-based telepresence, such as holographic based communications as well as avatar-based telepresence. So I will give a quick review on each of the four use cases currently developed by the Spirit project team. So here we go. So the first use case is developed by Ericsson, which mainly focuses on the live streaming based on holographic telepresence. So it is supposed to offer the applications of live capturing, modeling, and streaming of 3D human representative with based on the WebRTC platform. So currently it supports point-to-point communication based on the point cloud 3D system. So basically, as you can see from the right side, this is a complete end-to-end communication system supporting immersive telepresence of the networks. And basically it shows both on the production side and also the receiver side on these kind of point cloud based live streaming of holographic contents. The second one is more sort of a complex one, which supports the multi-source environment. The common feature of this use case is also based on point cloud, supporting live streaming from multiple sources. So probably I can play this kind of a simple video just to illustrate what we are looking at. So assuming these two persons are coming from different parts of the internet, and then they can virtually being teleported to a common virtual scene so that they can perform some simple interactions. So in the Spirit project, we're looking at the technique of edge computing for synchronization in order to synchronize the actions from different remote sources, so that from the receiver side, you can see this kind of seamless interaction with each other based on the platform. And the third one is avatar-based telepresence, which is currently developed by HHI. So this is not based on point cloud, but it is more like a mesh-based communication. The key novelty here is the splitting of the rendering approach, both on the device side as well as on the network edge side. So the system is able to smartly distribute the rendering task among the different entities, so that the final playback of the live streaming telepresence content can be seamlessly delivered and fulfilled by multiple parties, both on the network side as well as on the device side, based on different capabilities. Last but not least, we also have the human-to-machine based telepresence, and this is currently developed by the Deutsche Telekom. Currently it is also, I've got a very short sort of video to illustrate the use case in this scenario. So basically, the operator could leverage on the video camera being embedded on the remote robot in order to perceive real-time from surveillance and remote control on those devices in the telepresence applications. And so all these four use case application basically give some sort of examples on different types of telepresence applications we are looking at. But as I just mentioned, the open core certainly can welcome additional sort of scenarios and applications that can enrich the overall Spirit use cases to the European Commission. And then moving on to the overall architecture, certainly this is still in the middle of the project, but it aims to give a sort of layered view about the system platform to be developed by the Spirit project. So on the network side, we have both Deutsche Telekom testbed and also the testbed available from the Surrey University. So they will be interconnected at some stage in order to facilitate the end-to-end delivery of large-scale telepresence applications across the two testbed sites. But of course, starting from the initial stage, we can also support the experiments focusing on the single site scenario before being tested across different experiment sites. And we also can support a wide range of transport protocols libraries, including not only potential, classical, for instance, TCP, UDP, but also quick and low latency Dash, as well as WebRTC, all these kind of platforms to support the requirement of heterogeneous telepresence applications. And then on top of it, we also have the different application platform components developed by the Spirit project partners in order to enhance the resource efficiency as well as the user quality of experiences. So just to give them a few examples, like the support of multicast, unicast, split rendering, as I just mentioned in the context of one of the use cases, and also network aware resource scheduler. So I think my colleagues will give further introductions on some of the application platform components following my presentation. Yeah, so and then if on the right side, we can also look at the options for a third-party participant to come up with additional, let's say, platform components, as well as application layer use cases, which will be which has been covered by the previous talk. So this is just an overview, technical view about the use cases and the system architecture. And I think I will give the floor to my colleagues for further explanation on the application platform and their components, as well as the testbed. So I'll invite my colleague Ali from Ericsson to continue with the introduction on the components.
Yes, thank you very much, Ning. And I think Ali needs a little bit time to switch to his slides. So, Ning, thank you very much. And it's really important from the architecture drawing, the right-hand side. All applicants for the open call are not limited to the application frameworks Ali is presenting will present right now, but you can bring your own application framework, and in case it is feasible, your use case and application framework to be integrated in our test beds, then you have a good chance to work with us for 9 months. Ali, are you ready?
Yep. Thanks a lot, Vivian. Exactly. So next we come to the application innovations, and I would like in this short presentation as well to highlight more the capabilities of the application platforms that will basically resemble the use cases my colleague Ning just presented here. And I will go one by one, starting from Ericsson Live Holographic Communication Platform. So Ericsson platform is enabling live calls. So in a sense, it's more of a 3D calls because it's including RGB and depths transformed into a point cloud and meshes. So basically giving a 3D human representation. So in a one-to-one setup for this initial open call, it's possible to have one person being captured by 3D camera, and then on the receiver side, the other person in a one-on-one call is able to visualize that person. As part of this platform, there will be a sender application, or what we call a client producer application, which implements the functionalities on the capturing side that includes the acquisition of RGB data and all of the processing functions, including the filtering, compression to be able to send it over a network. And with a WebRTC communication and signaling mechanism in place, it's possible to run the call. The second application is the client consumer application, which somehow resembles the receiver side. So basically, again, receiving the data over WebRTC, the decoding and post-processing as well as rendering. And as part of the application, it's also possible to connect it to augmented reality glasses and be able to experience an immersive experience on the receiver side. So that's a little bit briefly when it comes to Ericsson platform. The second platform is the avatar-based platform. It's realistic, photorealistic avatars from Hover HHI. The platform is also based on being able here to create or pre-generate an avatar from 16 multi-view videos, and that includes the extraction of both body movements as well as facial expressions. Then in addition to that, there is live audio, where it's also possible to animate the avatar. When it comes to the components as well, we have a client and a server component. On the client application, it's also supporting WebRTC, and on the server component, it's supporting the applications of avatar generations that we have just talked about, as well as the streaming and rendering, which I will talk a little bit more in detail in a moment. So it is possible also to run the client application on the receiver side as well, and be able to render it on augmented reality glasses similar to Ericsson platform. When it comes to the streaming of data, this platform supports split rendering. In a nutshell, spirit rendering enables moving functionalities from the receiver side to a server or to a network, thus offloading as well as the receiver side. And to realize split rendering, there would be object pool components. So in principle, again, in a very brief language, we have all the mechanisms to receive the pulse of the user on the receiver side, the coordinates, and be able to do the rendering on a server and send the corresponding video based on the user position to the augmented reality glasses. And this is supporting GStreamer pipeline with WebRTC. So that's a little bit also quite briefly what from OpenHHI platform enables. And the third platform, which Ning also introduced, is from University of Surrey. It's also hologram based, so similar to Ericsson platform, but there are quite a few differences. One is the multi-source aspect. So it is possible to have as well on this platform multi users, as also seen on the figure here, basically captured by multiple cameras. And then there is powerful processing machines on Windows virtual machines as well here, which are able to process these streams and accelerate also the processing in order to enable live teleportation use cases. The platform supports TCP communication as well as provides RESTful APIs for management of the holographic server as well. All of these application platforms are available to realize the use cases which were presented earlier. And on top of that, with the testbed, there will be a human-to-machine platform that also Vivian will talk about in the next presentation. So please let us know if you have questions in the chat. We'll also come back to this. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Ali, thank you very much. Now I'm facing the challenge. Can you please stop sharing? Okay.
Yes, done.
Thank you very much. So let's share. Is it the right one? Okay. So when I go to presenter mode, everything is gone. Okay. So now, as announced by Ali, some information regarding the testbed and the integration. We have one testbed in Surrey on the university campus. It has a multi-radio access technology networks, 4G, 5G, standalone, non-standalone, and of course a virtualized core network and fiber external connectivity. And available are edge server machines for the applications. In this project, the unmanned aerial vehicle might not be so important. The testbed at T-Systems in Berlin, already you got a glimpse in the video from the human-to-machine use case. It's located in Berlin. It has a 5G standalone network and it's indoor and outdoor coverage. Indoor, of course, there's Wi-Fi and edge servers are provided, virtual machines, and Kubernetes manages containers. And already multiple of our use cases are available in the Berlin testbed. And what we have learned from the integration in the Berlin testbed, and we would like to share with you, is about kind of leveling up the lab use cases to a more operational environment. For example, the holographic human-to-human interaction. It was important to put the software into containers. And in the lab, the USB camera is connected to a computer. In the testbed, it was necessary to add a device server so that the USB camera sends their information via IP to the edge server. So that's a usual integration task to be done from going from lab to operational environment. And in the Berlin framework, we have a 5G standalone. So it's not the common bands, it's standalone. And there was a challenge to find a mobile phone working with AR glasses and working in the standalone network. And of course, we managed to find a phone, but these are little challenges everyone has to face when integrating their application in an operational environment. And similar things have to be done with real-time animation and streaming of realistic avatars. It has to be contained and as an appropriate mobile phone. It is the same like in the Ericsson use case, so it's quite easy. So now I brought something and I have to try to share. Here I have the animated avatar from HHI in the Berlin testbed. The animation is done by some complex systems using the audio input to create the visual, this is the face expression. And of course, the avatar, when you move, it follows you until she would break her neck by following you further. And it's just an example to have a avatar in the Berlin testbed available. And of course, one can place the avatar at different locations quite simply in the user interface. You can move it to another location. Right now I'm waiting here, it is shown to you, and that was just a glimpse of the avatar, and now I have to switch back to the presentation. Here it is. Okay, presentation mode. And the next thing I have with me is the human-machine interactions, the autonomous mobile robot available in the T-Systems testbed, already mentioned by Ali, and we have shown it in the video from Ning. It is available for machine use cases, and the interaction with the robot can be done with APIs. And of course, it's not just the robot, it can be a platform. One can install a lot of things on top of the robot with more in human-machine interaction if you intend to. So now we have 3 components available to be integrated when needed. It's a network-aware resource scheduler from IMEC. It handles containers in the scheduling of containers in Kubernetes. It is very useful if you have some containers in your microservice chain, and when they are located at different not everything is local. You have to distribute your containers. Then it is useful. It is installed in the Berlin testbed and also available in the Cloud Native Lab from IMEC. Another component we have available is confidential computing to secure workloads in the cloud. It allows the processing of data within a cloud in a secure way. The owner has full control of the data, and the cloud provider has no access while the data is processed. TSEC, my colleagues from the security department in Deutsche Telekom, they have developed tools to set up these containers and to operate them. There are scripts available, and the whole system can be accessed in the secure data center operated by TSEC. And last but not least, it's really not least, it's quality of experience evaluation. Quality of experience is quite important for immersive telepresence applications. So Uni Klagenfurt and IMEC developed tools for the Microsoft HoloLens to preview point clouds and run subjective quality of experience tests. With these subjective quality of experience results, looking at compression quality levels, view and distance, content characteristics, with these results, they developed a machine learning quality of experience model. This software, this model and dataset are available on GitHub and can be used by OpenCall participants to do their quality of experience evaluation. So this was a quick run through the components, testbeds, integration, application frameworks, and it concludes the technology section. Sorry, I'm hit some buttons. So Valentina, are you taking over to, or should I go on talking?
I would suggest to move on with the objectives of the open call and what we are looking for as Spirit Consortium. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, I already started the slides. Sorry, somehow I hit the wrong buttons. And the next part of the agenda is the open call objectives. And in the description of the open call, one of the documents Valentina pointed you at in the first section of the presentation, it is important for us validating and testing third-party applications on the Spirit platform, the collaboration part, that we really interact and see how experiments can utilize the current state of the Spirit platform and tools, and evaluate your use cases with focus on scale, responsiveness, reliability, realism, and the goal is that the results improve your algorithms, components, and products. And of course, we learn from our collaboration what issues are still with performance or other limitations of the existing Spirit platform. And this will lead to providing new requirements for the Spirit platform. In our collaboration, we will learn much about your requirements for your application, for your use case, for your components, and can derive requirements for the Spirit platform. What is really the important next step to develop in the Spirit platform? And of course, we don't have to do it on our own. Advancing the Spirit platform, when you have components available or ready after the open call, your results, which can advance the Spirit platform, we will happily take it and integrate it in our platform for the second open call, so that we have a more sophisticated platform available for the second call. And here is really a very lengthy information what might be the right thing to improve some functionalities regarding computational and network resource monitoring, management, and then network improvements. On the other hand, immersive media, content capturing, media encoding, processing, that's really important things to improve during the course of the project. And this will be done by testing quality of experience, providing more security to the platform. And some extension we can think of for the Spirit platform functionality are on the right-hand side. It's about research on volumetric data, new XR devices, which will be able to be integrated into the platform, then manipulating streamed audio and video, test new ways to offload CPO and GPO heavy computation using edge cloud solutions like the split rendering of the HI solution, and increasing scalability to extending. Currently it's more one-to-one communication to one-to-many or even many-to-many, and investigate novel transport solution and protocols not yet included in the Spirit Delivery Suite. And here is a short summary. The objective, I already explained them a little bit. And the use cases on the right-hand side can come from several vertical sectors, and it's not limited to these. If someone has a vertical sector that's not on the list, don't hesitate to apply. And the expected outcome is practical demos in one of the test beds and validation, because it's the first sentence on the slide. We expect that you already have something ready, the technology validated in the lab. It's more than an idea, and it's really, there is something. And with the funding of the open call, you can enhance the maturity of the components of the use case, at least how it is called, technology readiness level 6. It's technology demonstrated in relevant environment. Therefore, we expect that your use case, your components can be shown in one of our test beds and is kind of validated. And of course, the expected outcomes, the reports and the additional requirements, and maybe, in case it fits, contributions to the platform. Thanks a lot. That's my part of the presentation.
Thank you, Vivian, very much for the presentation. Is there any technical partners that want to add something about the technological framework? Otherwise, we can move on with the question that we received in the chat. I will invite Herman L. Wagner and Sophie Steyev to moderate the Q&A session. So we will have both general question and more technological one.
Sure. Hi, everyone. We've been actually already trying to answer your questions sort of during the call, but we'll take this time also to answer them also live. So one of the first questions, more general questions, is how can we use the optional advisory service? Should we contact a representative from the Spirit project with a proposal draft? Yeah, that's the first question.
I can answer to that. Well, the best way to use the feasibility advisory service is to go to the submission of proposal and on the stage tab to select feasibility advisory instead of final submission. So if you click on feasibility advisory, then you can complete the submission form, you can attach your condensed proposal, and in 5 working days, we are planning to give you a feedback on the feasibility of your proposal. So I suggest to use the submission portal to get the advisory, to take advantage of the advisory service and not to contact directly a partner. And take in mind that the deadline for the feasibility advisory service is May 13.
Great. I hope that answers your question there. If that's okay for you, Herman, I'll continue because we have a few general questions more than technical for the moment. So do we decide or suggest the patron?
Well, the patron, at least one patron will be assigned to each supported proposal, and we assign the patron to the experimentation based on the technical framework and the support that you need on the your experimentation. You can also require during the negotiation phase to be supported by a specific patron if you think it's more relevant for your experimentation. But in principle, we are the one that align the different experimentation with the patron support.
Awesome, thank you. There is a question about the location. So if we have a branch of our company located outside the EU, can we include them in the project?
As long as they are eligible to receive European funding, that's possible. Great.
I'll also add in the chat the frequently asked questions. There you'll see you have a link to a document where with a list of countries that are eligible. I'll send that in the chat before the end of the call, just for everyone to know.
Thank you. That's really important.
Yes. There is actually a question that I think Ning, you want to answer. Is that correct? The one with matching with others. Is that correct, Ning?
Sorry, which question you are referring to?
No, just it's telling me that you would like to answer the question about so someone said they're from Italy and they have a use case project to propose and wanted to know, but they want to do it with a technical partner and wanted to see if we could match them with others interested. It said that you wanted to answer that, but maybe that was a click false manipulation.
I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to answer that question, actually.
That's also why I was asking myself. Yeah. Then can we answer this question by someone else?
You answered the question on the GPU and
yeah, that's the one where I answered. Yes, yeah.
Can we get an answer to this question though? From someone else, maybe?
From my side, what I can say that we haven't think about a matching service to create, let's say, consortium, if I understand the answer correctly. We haven't think about this kind of service, but maybe we can discuss about it and create on the open call page, the possibility to show your interest in participating and the fact that you need some technical partner to create the proposal with you. But we have to plan it because it was not planned from the very beginning.
Great,
yes, and since this is partly a technical question as well, we can have a chat on that, a discussion on that. What is your idea and what kind of technical partner, technical support would you like to have, so that we can probably find a matching on that.
Are there any technical questions from them? I'm just
I have to with technical questions as well. Yes. First, the question from Arini, the very first one that is still in the Q&A box. I'm not sure whether we'll have a LaTeX version, but I think there is a Word version of the template, right?
Yes,
Valentina?
and yeah, at the moment, I've realized that on the web we only have the PDF version, but we
okay.
will upload the Word version as well.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Then question on the devices. Which devices are possible for the tests? I haven't seen iOS devices. Well, what we are using are quite diverse devices already. You saw several cameras, you saw end devices like head-mounted displays, like a HoloLens, stuff like that. Basically, the platform should be open to bring your own device and test it both on the capture side as well on the presentation side. The presentation side is mainly based on Unity, so whatever device works well with Unity should be quite easily usable. But open code projects are, I think, open to bring in their own devices. Anybody else who wants to add to that answer? Probably the test bed.
Yeah, I could probably just add a little bit.
Yeah.
So then it would be good to also a little bit understand a little bit more what devices you have in mind. We know on receiver side, one reason for using Android is that there are existing AR glasses where it is possible to connect today to a 5G phone and which is tethered to a 5G Android phone tethered to an AR glasses and basically be able to get an immersive experience. But we would be also interested to have a discussion. So please share your thoughts. What devices you have in mind as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar. So the reason we use Android right now is mostly that because the glasses that we wanted to use, that is this light glasses for AR and XR, are only supporting Android, or at least when we started the project. But now we have, for example, the Apple Vision Pro. So I think it's also interesting if you could bring some other implementations for these glasses that could be integrated in the application. So that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, UK organizations cannot receive funding, but the question is about, can we access the test bed and can we have mentoring if we bring our own resources, labor, material, devices, stuff like that?
Well, UK organization cannot receive the money, but they can apply and they can have a proposal submission. That means that you have to bring with you the money in order to support your experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
So it is exactly what happened for the Spirit project itself when it was selected from the European Commission. So we can give the technological or operational support, but we cannot give you the money and budgeting support.
Okay. So next question by Burak is for human-to-machine communication and interaction. Are we supposed to use the specific robot that is in the DT testbed, or can we develop and bring our own robot and use our systems for communication? I think Christoph is not here, so I'd like to have Vivian answer the question, please.
No, you are not obliged to use a specific robot presented here. But of course, is your robot and your systems for communication, I think it's a systems for communication with the robot, has to be integrated in one of the test beds. Then it would be fine to bring your own robot and its API to communicate with.
Okay, thank you. Move on in the questions, which is now more administrative question again. Can an application be part of another consortium working in another EU-funded project? Can an applicant be part? Valentina, probably?
Yeah, in the submission form, you will have to declare there is no conflict between this proposal you are already participating in, this project you are already participating in, and the one that you are proposing to the Spirit Consortium, which means you cannot receive money from the European Commission to perform the same activity you are already performing in another project. You can work in another project, but you cannot perform exactly the same experimental activity. The activity should be different.
Okay. Thank you. Alessandro's question: an idea that fits one of the scenarios, for instance, healthcare, we already tested in a prototypical version. Should it be converted and re-engineered to fit your requirements? Is that correct? Well, I try to answer, and please, other technical people add to that. It doesn't necessarily have to fit the Spirit requirements. It should basically help you advance the application, get in new features, extend the application, probably make use of what is already available. It should somehow be reasonably connected to the Spirit platform or the test beds or the tools or the software that we have. But there is no strict requirement that we as Spirit Consortium impose on that. So as Vivian presented, you can test, validate your own application, extend it, and it may result in new requirements for the Spirit platform, but there is no a priori strict requirement here. So
just to add something, for example, to containerize the Python application so that it can run in the Berlin or Surrey testbed would be a good step. You do not have to convert it or re-engineer it.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is by Irene again, for providing new functionalities for Spirit. Is integration in all the platforms mandatory? Do we need to demonstrate the integration with the expected results? Well, that's one of the typical goals, to integrate it in one of the testbeds at least, and show that it helps, that it extends the platform. There should also be some demonstrator that shows that it is integrated in the platform, extends the platform, is a valuable contribution. I think the proposal should be framed like this. It extends the platform then. Anything else to say on this? There was one question I saw earlier. Will the slides be shared? I think yes, Valentina, right? Yes, okay. So because now the next slide is on the website, and slide number 15, that the two deliverables are not yet expected. No, there is not a threat to the work proposed. We have in the next few weeks to show better the connection between requirement and use cases and what is already implemented on the test beds. This involves those two deliverables. So this was not fully clear to the persons giving this advice. And so we have just to show this, but basically this can be provided with not too much effort, and there is no threat for the project going on. Otherwise, we would have not been allowed to open the call here. So there's definitely progress to be expected. Okay. Where can we find the list of patrons is the next one, Valentina?
Yes, you can find the list of patrons of the open call dedicated page. there is a dedicated session that explain the patron role, and then there is a summary of potential patron. You click on it and you will be able to visualize the table that summarize all the patrons that you can work with. So it's everything on the open call dedicated page on the Spirit website.
Valentina, may I ask you to follow up on the next question, the approximate proposal size? I'm not sure whether this is in pages or in budget, because budget
Well,
was
if
said.
it's in budget,
Budget was said,
as we
yeah.
said before, is 200,000, the maximum request for each single experimentation. In size, well, there is, we haven't defined a limit of pages, but you have to give all the relevant information in the proposal template and fully complete the proposal template.
Mhm. Next question is whether there is something on immersive audio included in the platform. Audio, what we have is by HHI, and I hand over to Sergio to answer it, please.
Yes, so what we have right now is a pipeline that uses WebRTC to stream both video and audio. We haven't worked on immersive audio so far, so what we are sending is stereo that is, I mean, can be perceived as 3D audio in the scene, but it's not really immersive like with other types of implementations. But it's something that we could definitely integrate in the platform. So since we already have the pipeline for the audio, that would be something good to have in any case. So if any of the participants have something like that, some component, we could integrate it.
Yeah, but just to add to what Sergio said, the AR capabilities already also enabled today to generate, well, immersive audio or spatial audio on the receiver side. But as Sergio said, from a sender side, we are sending monochrome audio.
Okay. Then Jordi's question, can our proposal focus on improving the current platform, enhancing or changing some of the internal tools? I would say any extension and enhancement and improvement, whatever enriching functionality is welcome. So for example, in terms of delivery of the content, we currently are focused on WebRTC and TCP in one case. If there are other protocols for delivery, like making use of QUIC or making use of some dashified version of delivery, then this is welcome. Yeah, I think there can be improvements on tools available as well. Okay, next question is again UK, again administrative. Valentina, may I ask you to
Yes, I've
take it
seen
over?
the question, and yeah, I know that's a tricky part to fully understand the rules of the European Commission that are changing quite a lot. But at the moment, we submitted the proposal, the Spirit proposal. The association agreement of UK was not in place at the moment, and UK wasn't eligible for receiving EC funding. That's why the third into this open call, UK is not still eligible to receive the funding. The list of countries can be misleading because you have, as you said, UK will participate, but at that moment there was not the agreement in place. And we have to stick with the eligibility that was in place when we submitted on first place the proposal for the Spirit project.
Okay. Good. I continue with technical questions. Since point cloud data seem to be unavailable directly by API for MetaQuest devices, does that make those unsuitable for these cases? Or I'm not sure. At least not for presentation, I would say. If you have a use case, for example, that is one-to-many, for example, a person giving a speech or lecturing, and you want to have it presented on MetaQuest devices, this is not useless, I would say. We are using MetaQuest now as well to try to get point clouds presented. For capturing point clouds, you would need then other devices, that at least have RGB bus depth information, like you saw in the University of Surrey video, for example. The platform is about immersive telepresence, immersive communication, as long as you can somehow argue that this is an immersive presentation or immersive application and communication, I would say the device is feasible as well.
Yeah, just to add on this,
Yeah.
yeah, even if there's no direct support for this, I mean, in the Spirit platform, we have many different components for all the use cases. So one of them, for example, in our case, in HHI's case, is the split rendering that we use. So what we do is, instead of sending the whole 3D object, mesh or point cloud, we render it on the server, and then we send only 2D video to the client. So even if what you have is a point cloud on the server side, it could be streamed as well with this approach, as long as you don't require to send the whole object, of course. But yeah, what I mean is all kind of scenarios could be considered, and then we can see if we have components that could serve this purpose or not. But yeah, all scenarios are welcome.
Okay. Next technical question: what license is the current platform? Open source. Well, I'll start with answering. Many of the tools, many of the software packages, much is open source. Of course, the test beds at Deutsche Telekom and University of Surrey are not open source, but they are usable using standard tools, containerization, standard cloud stacks, something like that. Is there something proprietary? Vivian, can you help me out here?
Yes, I think parts of the Ericsson framework and the HHI framework are not open source and will not be open source in the near future. And Sergio is nodding, so I'm probably right. A lot of things are open source, but not everything is open source.
Yeah. For example, the tools developed by the universities, like what you saw, the network aware scheduler or our QE tools, and data sets and stuff like that, those are open source anyway. So I would say partially open source, partially is company confidential still. Well, it's usable for on the platforms and the test beds, but not open source. Then a final question seems to be test beds to be used remotely or in presence, if I understand the question right. I think both is possible and both should be targeted, can be targeted as well. Yeah.
As far as I know, remote access to the edge servers will be provided in both locations, and for in-presence activity, of course, you have to check with testbed owners about availability and so on, but there will be remote access to the servers provided.
Okay. So my tab says no open questions at this point. So sorry, Sophie, I took over some of the admin questions as well.
That's great.
I just handed it over to Valentino most of the time. I think some questions were answered in written form, so please check the Q&A tab again. I hope we could answer most of the questions. So if you think your idea is feasible, then go ahead and try to make use of the feasibility check. And if you know some of the people in our project, I think you can approach them as well and have initial discussions. But the official way would be the feasibility advice mid of May then, but I think we are open to help you shape the proposal as well. And we are looking forward to many nice, high profile, useful and exciting applications. And I think I hand over to Valentina to almost conclude now.
Well, I think you gave already the perfect conclusion of the webinar. Just let me add that all the questions that are relevant will be added on the frequently asked question on the open call page, so that we are everything on the same page. And yeah, thank you very much for participating and for all the questions you have posed during this webinar. And please remember that the webinar will be shared on the website, and also the slide will be shared, so that you can well, check everything if you still have doubts about the proposal and the submission process or the administrative. And that's it from my side. And thank you very much again for your participation, and hope to talk to you soon during the negotiation of the project implementation and the grant agreement.
Yeah. Thanks, you all.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.